July 13th and 14th because I missed yesterday. Tracking the Blood Trail, Part 4. A deep sleep fell upon Abram. As the sun went down and it was dark, Abram saw a smoking fire pot and a flaming torch that passed between the halves of the carcasses. So that day Jehovah made this covenant with Abram. Genesis 15 from the Living Bible. Let's trek a little further along the blood trail to Christ. Here is a large pool. 3. Abrahamic covenant, Genesis 15. In those days, covenants were cut, most often involving the cutting of animals, and the parties to the agreement would walk between the pieces. This blood path rite was also typical for arranging marriages in Middle East desert communities. This particular covenant was God's guarantee to Abraham's descendants that they would receive a special land. Jeremiah 34:18 reads, "Those who have violated my covenant and have not fulfilled the terms of the covenant they made before me, I will treat like the calf they cut in two and then walked between its pieces." So if either party broke the covenant, they would deserve to be torn asunder like the sacrificial animals. The strange thing is that Abraham slept while God enacted this unilateral covenant by symbolically walking through the sacrificial pieces. This was not a joint venture. This demonstrated that even though the descendants of Abraham were unfaithful to God, God would never revoke this covenant. It was unconditional. The birds of prey in Genesis 15 that were swooping down to attack the sacrifices well depict satanic attacks on grace. If you strongly proclaim your faith in the new covenant, that you are approved exclusively by Christ's sacrifice unilaterally and not by any works, you can expect attacks. Take heart. God will take care of the legalistic birds. Our job is to sleep, to rest in Him. Will you rest in the blood sacrifice of His Son? Hi, I was going to actually read tomorrow's as well, or today's, but I just have to make a comment about this Space for Grace reading because the timing of it is crazy. So often I find myself reading a verse or reading a devotional and it's just like, why do you care about my single life, God, that you're sending me this love letter, this reminder? I just love, and I know it's a little windy, so hopefully it's not too loud. We can expect attacks. I was just having a conversation with a friend yesterday about spiritual warfare and how even though I feel like I've really submitted myself to the surgical extraction of the tentacles of Watchtower theology and nonsense. Sure, there's still a little like scar tissue. It really does sometimes feel like I underwent like a lobotomy, like a major brain surgery, and it was like all those tentacles of that Watchtower tumor. You have to extract piece by piece. I know some people just do a lobotomy and throw God out with Watchtower, but ultimately there's so much evidence that every human on this beautiful, beautiful planet are seeking something higher than themselves. But as far as spiritual attacks go, God has made a covenant with each and every one of us, and it was sealed by the blood of Christ. And it's when you are putting effort into that relationship, not because you have to or you're guilt tripped into doing it or it's conditional. Those evil forces, all things that are not of love and of God, are so envious and so narcissistic and just so evil that they, misery loves company. The devil is miserable and he wants company, and he will do any destructive thing he and his legion can do to just make you want to give up. And I'm just so grateful today. It's been a week. It has not been an easy week at all, but I'm so grateful to be enjoying this gorgeous day, sober, no hangover, and working on emotional sobriety, spiritual sobriety. We were spiritual drunks on Watchtower Kool-Aid when we were Jehovah's Witnesses, and just like a literal drunk who uses alcohol to numb out, like we just numbed out to everything around us on Watchtowers and Awakes and jw.org. And now that I'm working a program of sobriety, namely Alcoholics Anonymous, and understanding that it's not just about not drinking, but all the other stuff, at the beginning of each meeting, everyone takes a moment of silence to say a prayer for the alcoholic who's still suffering. And it just makes me think about taking a moment to say a prayer for the Jehovah's Witness who's still suffering, who can't accept yet that grace, their true identity, a child of God. So I'm just, again, so grateful. I just wanted to show my face and say thank you. And I hope that you have a great day, and you don't have to do this alone. God will absolutely, like, you pray to him, you ask him. We can't do this alone. It has been like years. Like, I tried to do it by, like, I thought, oh, I'll just find the right church. I'll just submit myself to, no, not even submit, but just like do the fellowship thing. Like, I'm not a church person right now. Maybe I will be in the future. Like, that's the whole thing with God that I love, is there's no linear map where it's like, you must do A, then B, then C. It's like, no, it's Ephesians 2:8-9, like, by grace, by faith alone. And you'll beg out to God and be like, I don't know, personally, I just want to do it all alone. And I think that's pride. Like, look at me, I did it myself. Like, oh, so that people can congratulate me and say, you're so strong. But it's like, no, I'm the result today of asking for help, like admitting that I'm powerless over certain things, and that doesn't make me weak. Like Paul said, in my weakness, I found my strength. So I know that was just a lot of but I'll take this any day over feeling sorry for myself, numbing out on horrible Netflix garbage and food. Blech. So I'm gonna take my dog for a walk on the beach, and as they say in AA, just do the next right thing. And sometimes that just involves like sitting down and pausing and doing nothing, so that you can like collect your thoughts and ask for help and look up to. So thanks for listening. Enjoy today's Space for Grace as well.